Hello, Sam Owens here with another tip for your RV. Now I know a lot of you are out there inexperienced. You just got a motorhome that's used and all of a sudden the water pump isn't working, or you got water coming out the fill vent in your on your motorhome where you fill it with water. It's just trickling out of there constantly. I'm going to talk about all of that and how to change out the water pump and install a new one. But right now, I'm going to take you and locate the water pump for a Fleetwood Pace Arrow 2003 motorhome. And they should be in a similar place on your motorhome, in a bay, close to the driver compartment or the passenger compartment. This is on the passenger side. So we're going to go down. I'm going to show you the pump and some basic information about it, and then I'm going to take you to the workbench where I have the original pump that I replaced with this one, and we can talk about everything you need to know about the pump and how to install it and connect it up. So I'm going to do it that way instead of dragging you down there and trying to hook and take this pump out that's working fine. So bear with me on that, and I'm going to take you down now and we're going to look at this. Here's my compartment. I've taken all the stuff out and put it on the steps there. Nobody's inside, it's all locked up, so no problem with somebody coming out and tripping. Okay, there's the view. Now, you wouldn't know that the water pump is there, but I do. And what you do is you can turn it on. If it's able to run, you can hear it running, and so you can find it that way. But if it's not running, well, you're gonna have to just find it. Okay, this is just Velcroed on, and it's just a cover to keep from things messing up your pump and connections. So you just pull it out like this, and that's all you do on that. Put it over to the side. Okay, all right, there's the pump, and this is the outflow side. This is the part that goes out to the faucets and all of that. This is the input side, and there's arrows on there that show. Right there is an arrow, and there's an arrow, so there's no mistaking which way this goes. So this is the output. This is a filter which filters the water going into the pump. Now the pump, and I'll explain this little part right back here. It has a check valve in it. This side, when I have city water pressure on, the pressure comes up to this point right here from the water pressure of the city connection, and the pump is not going to be on. So that check valve stops the water from going through into my holding tank. If this check valve becomes defective, and it can from trash getting in it, various reasons it can go bad. Mine is bad. And what'll happen is the city water pressure will come in and ooze through the check valve back through here into your holding tank, and the holding tank will slowly start filling up depending on how much water is going in. Eventually it will come out the fill valve on the side of the motorhome. If you ever see water oozing out of it constantly when you're on city water pressure, that's the reason, this check valve. This is your water fill point here. There's another one in the sewer area that allows you to fill the tank from the city water pressure, but this you can use a hose to fill it. But what you'll see is if that check valve is bad on your pump, you'll see water coming out of this hole right here. That's a vent hole, and it will run down the side of the motorhome, a nice trickle. You can see from this right here, mine was leaking a while before I figured out what was wrong, so I'm kind of helping you figure out ahead of time that if you see water coming out of there and you're on city water, the pressure is going through your check valve of your pump. So your pump has a bad check valve, and you can add an external check valve like I did. Now, if you don't want to replace the pump, and I didn't because the pump is fine, it works great, what I did is bought a check valve and installed it in the line to this point. This connection right here is supposed to go right there. This is to all of my faucets, and this is the output to all the shower faucets and sinks and everything. And I took it off, installed this, and it has to be positioned in the proper direction to allow water to go this way but not come back. So that's the way you want to put it in. And it just simply comes from the faucets through here, loops around, and connects there. So that's about what I've got. And that's all there is to it. Now, when I get to the bench unit pump, I'm going to show how to remove these and talk about the mounting. You see, it's mounted on a little wood platform with 4 bolts. So it's very easy to connect. Right here are the connections, and wire nuts are on them. And so it's a real easy job that you should be able to do yourself without any trouble. And what can happen is you can hear rattling sometimes, and you got to position these tubes like, really, I need to run this behind there because it's going to slap a little bit on that cover that I have. So those are noises. Anywhere it touches, you're going to hear a loud thumping noise. Or if the pump is not mounted real good and tight, it can cause vibration noises. So anywhere that the pipes come in contact with something, that's a source of noise. So noise is or something usually dealing with the routing of the pipes. So that's basically what you need to know about the pump. Is if it's not running and you've checked and got voltage to it, you can figure there's not a whole lot you can do with it other than replace the pump. We just got through looking at the pump in my Fleetwood Pace Aero motorhome, and you saw a little bit about the pump and where it's located, and a few things that I showed you about the pump and the problem with the check valve. And then here is the output place that you connect to your voltage of the motorhome. So this is where you would connect the 2 leads, and you can use wire nuts or compression connections here. Now, the way the pump works is this is the inlet side, and right here you can see an arrow right there, and there's the arrow going out. So there's no question as to which is the output. This is where water pressure goes out. And as I explained in the when we were at the pump in the motorhome, I had a check valve, an external check valve out there, because the check valve in here went bad on that motor. And so instead of replacing the motor, it was working fine, I just put an external check valve. So this is one problem that you could have with your pump. And then when it comes to the valves, I think the new pump comes with a couple of these nipples, actually. Now they make different nipples. They make some with a 45-degree angle because sometimes it will be too long this way, so you might need I said 45, 90-degree to be able to have the threads going back a ways. So the way this works is you have this slide right here. This is what locks it in play. You want this all the way out, and then you should put a little moisture or something or other. I have some handy. And it will make the rubber, this is an O-ring right here, which seals. And you just push this in all the way. Then you push that in. And even with it in, you can turn this if you need it for some reason. And it won't leak. And then to take it out, you push that and pull it. Okay, so usually this will always be connected to the inlet side hose. And then when you're going to replace it, you just pull this out and it'll all be connected. You're not messing with anything, so there shouldn't be any leaks when you get through. And then you just push this back in, push that. The other side, this goes the same way. A little bit of moisture, and then this goes out. Okay, that's all it was. I needed a little bit more moisture on there. Okay, there you go. There's your two nipples. It should have been connected. So the job is not going to take you very long at all. 4 bolts, a connection, and 2 water connections. You just have those already ready to go, and they just screw on. And you really don't need Teflon tape on those. Okay, with that said, I think this is a job you can do. And now you know a little bit more about your pump in your motorhome and some of the problems that you can have. And this is something you can solve yourself and not have to take it in and spend a week with your motorhome in the shop. And if you're out camping, this is a real quick way of fixing a problem. If you're dry camping, you got to have this. All right, I want to thank you for watching.